On these problems, you want to factor the denominators because once we see it all factored, then we'll know what the LCD is going to be. If we take a look at this middle term here, we have x squared minus 2x plus 4. Now, if we try and factor that, we're not going to be able to find two numbers that multiply to make 4 that add to be negative 2. So it looks like this one can't be factored. But this third term here, we have x cubed plus 8. That's going to be a sum of cubes. So we're going to use the sum of cubes formula to factor that one. So we have 9 over x plus 2. A little bit neater here. X plus 2. And then we have this other one we already mentioned can't be factored. And then on the right-hand side, we can use difference of, or the sum of cubes we're going to use here. Now that can be written as x cubed plus 2 quantity cubed. So the a is x and the b is going to be 2. So if we use that formula, we have a plus b, x plus 2. And then we have a squared, so x squared. And then we have a minus ab, which is going to be a 2x, plus b squared, so 2 squared is going to be 4. And we see that's exactly the same things we have on the left-hand side. So our LCD is actually going to be all this that you see below the 108. All that's going to be our LCD. So we need to put this in front of all the fractions on each side. Okay, so x plus 2, x squared minus 2x plus 4 over 1. We have all this times 9 over x plus 2. Next, we'll put all this in front of the next fraction, x plus 2, x squared minus 2x plus 4, all that over 1. And then times 2 over x squared minus 2x plus 4. And we'll put another one on the right-hand side, x plus 2, x squared minus 2x plus 4 over 1. All that will be times the right-hand side, which is 108. All that over x plus 2, x squared minus 2x plus 4. Okay, so now we have it all written out. So now we're ready to start canceling. I have x plus 2 here that cancels x plus 2 there. I have these quadratic terms, those cancel out. Now over here on the right-hand side, actually all this that I have is going to cancel. So let's rewrite what we have. We have 9 times x squared minus 2x plus 4. That's all I have for the first fraction. And I have plus 2 times x plus 2. That's all we have there. And that's just going to equal 108 because everything else canceled out there. So now we just have to solve this equation. 9 times everything, 9x squared minus 18x plus 36. I have plus 2x plus 4 equals 108. And now we just have to add like terms together. Negative 18x plus 2, negative 16x we have there. And I have 36 plus 4 is 40. So since it's a quadratic, I need to bring everything all over and set it equal to 0. So I want to subtract 108 from both sides. So 9x squared minus 16x. Then I have 40 minus 108. It's going to be minus 68 equals 0. So now I need to factor this one. Now factoring by the grouping method, that would give us kind of some large numbers to work with because I have to do 9 times 68. So instead of doing that, I'm actually going to factor it by using the trial and error method here. You could use quadratic if you wanted to as well, but in this case, we can factor this. Let's try 3x and 3x. And then for 68, we can divide it by 2, and we get 2 and 34. So let's try that combination to see if the 2 and 34 is the right one. Well, if we do that, we get 3 times 34 plus 6. That's going to be too big. That's not going to give us a term of 16. So we'll get rid of those. Even if you switch 2 and 34, that's not going to work either. So we'll get rid of that. Now we also have 4 and 17. That's also another combination that will give you 68. Let's try that. 3 times 17 is 51, and then 12. That won't work either. And even if we switch them, that's not going to work. So it seems like the 3x's are not working here. We could try 1 and 68 as well, but that's going to be too big. So looks like we have the wrong thing for the 3. So let's try x and 9x instead. And we'll start off again with our 2 and 34 like we had last time. Okay, we get 9x squared. We get 34x. So 34 and 18, that will allow us to get 16 here. That's got to be negative. So if I have a negative and a positive here, I would get negative 34x plus 18x would give us the negative 16x. So this is the correct way to factor that. We're going to set both of these equal to 0. And we're going to solve each of these individually. We get x is equal to negative 2. If the pen would write, negative 2. And then this right here, we're going to add 34 to the other side and then divide by 9. And we would get the other answer of 34/9. So both of those are fine because they don't cause any of the denominators to be a 0, except for this very first one we see here. Negative 2 we got as one of our answers, but notice if you put negative 2 into the first fraction, that is going to cause division by 0. So we have to cross out our answer of x equals negative 2. Okay, again, make sure you always do that check. You have to check both answers you get to make sure you're not dividing by 0 anywhere. So that answer is gone, but 34/9, that's not going to cause any of these to be a 0. If you plug that into all those, you'll find that it doesn't cause division by 0, which means that this only has one answer of 34/9.